as the preseason winds down, comes to a close, actually, the Cowboys finally had a pretty strong preseason showing against the Falcons, 31-13. You had some players that had some really good games that needed some good games. Joe Milton played well. He played extremely well. Deuce Vaughn played well. Jaden Blue got some playing time, twisted his ankle at the end of it, but he'll be fine. Seems like he'll be fine for the beginning of the season. Showed that he is explosive. He's that speed really kicks in, man. When he plants his foot and gets upfield, he's getting upfield quick. There's just a lot of guys that won't make this roster. Shamar James, rookie linebacker, 6th-round pick, showed his ass all preseason long. I think he'll make the 53, but there are some guys that played well. Ryan Flanoy, Jalen Brooks, guys that Trayshawn Holden, guys that played well in their last preseason game. Maybe they've been playing pretty well in practice. Maybe not the best, but the 53-man roster comes to they close short up tomorrow, and there was already some cuts made, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about this Micah Parsons stuff, man. Can the Cowboys, particularly Jerry Jones, can they get this solved before week 1? All that. Got a bunch of stuff here, man. Next on Cowboy Spit.
Here we go! Yeah, here we go! Wait, take Cowboy Spit.
Throws back of the end zone. There's
What's going on, everybody? Cowboy C3. 53-man roster comes to fruition tomorrow. It'll be an interesting day tomorrow. You'll see some guys get cut. There will be some surprises. Brian Schottenheimer said there'll be some surprises. I wonder if those surprises won't really be surprising to a lot of Cowboy fans. I wonder. I have a feeling that there'll probably be some pretty big names on the list, and there'll be some guys that'll get picked up by other teams, man, and they'll go on, this year and hopefully years after that and have, success playing in the National Football League. And good luck to them. There are some guys on this football team that have already been waived. And that list came out about 4 or 5 hours ago. So Nick Broker, Denzel Dixon, Josh Kelly, Tyler Neville, Troy Pride, John Stevens Jr. all were waived today. Lael Collins was released, and Christian Matthew was waived. He's on the injured list. He was waived as well. So it's already started. Like, this has already started. And, you've got – some more guys that'll get cut. It's just the nature of the game. That's just how this thing goes. You go into preseason with a big roster. There's some guys that have some really good showings, but a lot of those showings are just auditions for other football teams. That's what they're doing, and that's how it goes. We'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of the show. I'm gonna kind of do this backwards, man. I know I got team news up right now, but I'm gonna go through the injury report first because we all kind of know what the team news is right now, or the biggest team news. Christian Matthew, like I said, he was waived today. He was already questionable. He has a groin injury. Josh Butler is on the PUP list. He is expected to return week 1, but the ACL. Sadiq Charles, Ernest Brown, Brevin Spranford, Micah Parsons as well. And we'll touch on that more here in just a minute. And Tyler Smith are all questionable for week 1. Miles Sanders, Jaden Blue are both questionable for week 1. Luke Schoonmaker went into the concussion protocol. He's questionable for week 1. Jonathan Mingo is doubtful for week 1 with a PCL sprain. Tyler Guyton with the knee is questionable for week 1 in Philly. DeMar Overshown is on the PUP list. He's expected to return week 5. Robert Jones, Siobhan Reveal, both of them on the non-football injury list. They won't be back till later on in the season. And Kalen Carson is also questionable for the week 1. He's been out. His injury time was 4 to 6 weeks with a hyperextended knee, and he'll probably help out in the secondary. But there was some big injury news that came out for the Cowboys, man, and it is positive. Trayvon Diggs has passed his physical. He will now be moved to the Cowboys active roster ahead of the 53-man cut down from the physically unable to perform list. Still unclear if he'll be ready for week 1, but it's big news. So Trayvon Diggs passed his physical. He's ready to go. That helps out the secondary tremendously. And we'll talk about the secondary here in a minute. Now, we'll talk about the team news. So we're all aware of this whole Micah Parsons debacle that's going on. And the question is always going to be who's to blame. So all of this started right at the beginning of training camp, and I talked about this before. Jerry was pretty quiet throughout the offseason. Everything was quiet. First day of training camp, the real Jerry showed up, and he's always going to show up. That's just Jerry Jones. That's what he does. Well, Micah Parsons came and said he didn't want to play for the football team, and you've got this contract hold in. He's not holding out because he's been at every practice. He's been at every preseason game. He might have been asleep on the table at a preseason game, but that's okay. I mean, I don't really think he was literally on the table for like 3 or 4 minutes, and people just kind of blowing it up into being a big deal or whatever. But maybe it was a little unprofessional. I get it. I understand where people are coming from, but the dude laid down on the table for a minute, kind of got his mind off things, whatever. He got a lot on his mind. Well, Jerry has definitely been doubling down. How you doing? It's not that serious, man. I'm good. How you doing? Jerry has been doubling down. He's kind of taking, let's back up a little bit. The Gambler and His Cowboys got released the Netflix special. And if you guys haven't watched it, man, it's actually pretty good. He tells some stories that a lot of us already knew. He tells some stories that I didn't remember, I needed to be reminded of. And he also finally told a story about what happened between him and Jimmy. And if you guys haven't watched it, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, you guys need to go check it out. But it was, I kind of had a notion or an idea of what happened between him and Jimmy. He really broke it down into how it happened, like a play-by-play. And Jimmy he's on the show as well. And he also confirms that, yes, this is exactly how this all went down. And it's interesting. It's just Jerry Jones' story. And it's funny how much his mindset has changed. But it's funny as well of how much he tries to assure you that his mindset hasn't changed. It's weird. His mindset definitely has changed. The only thing that he was really concerned with back in that time was winning. And that hasn't been the case for quite a while. It hasn't been the case since Jimmy left. But we go into this negotiation, and this negotiation tactic, Jerry had, and it touches on this negotiation tactic as well in the video. In the Netflix series, because it is a 7-part series about how the negotiations went with Emmitt Smith. Eerily similar to the way he does things now. He is very, very, very adamant about speaking to players directly, not really going through agents. There have been players, especially in the recent future, Dez Bryant, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, that absolutely refuse to get behind closed doors with him one-on-one and have these contract negotiations. Micah Parsons went another route. He went in and tried to discuss this with Jerry, and Jerry felt like that they came up with a contract. Like this is what they came up with. So right as this Netflix special got released, he went on Michael Irvin's podcast, who has a big part in this documentary, and he had this to say, and it's pretty interesting. Check it out.
When we wanted to send the details to the agents told us to stick it up our ass.
Wait. Now, see, I was
just so you're clear.
Wait. What do you mean? So wait.
Well,
what do you mean? Because people
Mike,
going to ask.
Mike and I talked. Mike and I talked, and then we were going to send it over to the agent. And we had our agreements on term, amount, guarantees, everything. We were going to send it over to the agent. And the agent said, don't bother because we've got all that to negotiate. Well, I'd already negotiated. I'd already moved off my mark on several areas. And so the issue, very frankly, is we've had the negotiation in my mind. And the agent's trying to get his nose in it right now and try to come in there and improve off the mark that we'd already said. It's the mama-daddy deal. You go into mama and she won't do it. And she's the boss, so much. She won't do it. So you run into daddy, daddy says do it. And then you go back in and say, mama, daddy said it was all right. It's the old mama, daddy deal. We've all been there and done that. Well, we've got this thing resolved in my mind for the Dallas Cowboys. And we've got it done. And if the agent wants to finish up the detail, which is should, and do all the paperwork, and he can do that. And we're ready to go. But as far as the amount of money, the years, the guarantees, all of that, we negotiate that.
What's baffling to me is that shit is illegal as hell. You know what I mean? Like it is illegal. Like you cannot. What's going on, Jeff? Man, how you doing? It is. You cannot negotiate with players, and it's against the NFL players agreement. You can't negotiate with players without their agent present. You can't do it. Jerry has also said that handshake is a deal. Like that's how he bought the team. And he tells you about his little Netflix special. Like I said, if you haven't watched it, check it out. He feels like that the conversation that he had with Micah Parsons was the contract negotiation. That's what we're going to do. He came off his mark. And so obviously he went a little bit up above than what he was going to pay. Excuse me. He went above what he was going to pay. So in his mind, he's done his negotiating already. There's no reason for me to talk to the agent. Well, the agent told him, I'm not for certain that the agent told him to stick the contract up his ass, but he probably told him like, that's not how this works. Like you have to talk to me. Like you don't have a choice. Like the negotiation is done through me. It's not done through my player. It's done through me. And he doesn't want to hear that. So he says, for him, the agent is there to do the particulars, sign some paperwork, and that's it. The negotiation has already been done. Micah Parsons, on the other hand, has come back and said that, trade me, get rid of me. Like you don't want me around. That's fine. You don't want to pay me. That's fine. I'm not going through this franchise tag. Well, last year, my contract, franchise tag, all that stuff, man, I'm not doing it. Well, there was an interesting thing that happened a couple of days ago with former Cowboy DeMarcus Lawrence. He had a very, very interesting take on all of this, and it had to do a lot with himself and Jerry Jones. Check it out.
If you were in Oxnard for the last 3 weeks, or what would be Dallas now, we all see from the outside what's going on with your former teammate, your former team. What would be advice you could give to Micah Parsons as he now deals with trying to figure out how he handles his contract negotiations?
That's a shaky situation, man. You have an owner on one hand that's basically asking him to go prove it and, play another year. But, you know, you got a young star on the other hand. It's like, I already done proved enough to you. You know, you got to pay me my money. So, I mean, it's really hard to, you know, speak on it, you know, because, you know, with my situation, Jerry franchise tagged me the first time, you know, and he was like, shoot, if you can prove it under this franchise tag, I'll pay you. So I was like, all right, cool. That's basically double dipping to me. You know what I mean? I get the franchise in, you know, money on the back end. So, all right, cool. I go prove it. You know, did that. And he was a man of his word. He paid me, you know? So it's like, I don't know what was said behind closed doors with their situation. So, you know, I can't just say like, pay that man or, you know, don't pay that man. You know, it's that's their business.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Because it seems like two different things that shouldn't be touched. And we know it's just Jerry that is in that position. But is that a weird thing that now he jumping around, he holding everything, he's there for you, and then now it's negotiation time?
Well, it might be weird to everybody else, but like coming from Dallas and being in Dallas my whole career, that's all I knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't see no difference in it. You know, the owner or the GM is, you know.
But it's two different hats. Like you can see him as the owner, and then now we got to negotiate, but now we still friends, and now we got to negotiate. It seems like a funny dynamic.
See, like, that's why I think people be getting misconstrued. Like, you handle your business and stuff, Jerry will pay you.
Yeah, he's done it.
You know what I mean? But you got to also understand, like, he ain't in this organization by himself, you know? So, you know, he got his boys, too, you know, that tells him, hey, like, we need to be careful about this. We need to, hold on, we don't need to pay him that much. You know what I mean? But, you know, overall, through my experience, he paid me.
Interesting. So I don't think that anybody from the outside looking in, I don't think anybody thinks that Jerry's in this alone. I really don't. I think that there's a group of people, and I think it has, you know, him, Steven, Will McClay. They sit back and they talk about this stuff. They have to, right? Like, this is things that businesses do, and their team is a business. Like, it's their business. It's a very lucrative business, but it's a business. And they talk about what's good for the team and what's not. I think that what people, not people, the players, I think what is frustrating for the players, DeMarcus Lawrence took it like, hey, I'm making 8-9 million a year, right? And it's time for me to negotiate. You franchise tag me, and that franchise tag is a top 3 average. So his pay probably went up to 24 million a year. So his pay jumped regardless. Micah Parsons' pay will jump, don't get me wrong, but he's a first round pick. DeMarcus Lawrence, I think, was a second or third round pick. So it's not going to jump the same. The thing that I believe that the players, and I'm not just talking about Micah Parsons, I'm talking about players in the past, is like they don't want to play the games. They don't want to go around like it's like you get ridiculed in order to get paid. Nobody wants to deal with that. And the question to all Cowboy fans is like, man, okay, we get it. We understand what's going on. Is Micah Parsons going to be ready week 1? That's the question. And the answer to that question is probably no. Probably not. Micah Parsons has been working out at the facility. He's been with the team. He's been in meetings. I'm pretty sure that he understands Eberflus's defense. He hasn't been out there to run it yet, though. Micah Parsons is not in game shape. He can't be in game shape. He hadn't been working out. He hadn't even been practicing. So will he be ready week 1? Physically, probably not. Financially, will he be ready by week 1? I wouldn't be surprised if Jerry just pays him just to get it over with. He went on in that Michael Irvin interview to say, and I wish I would have caught a clip of that as well. Excuse me. He went on to say that he wanted Micah Parsons to come in. He wanted Michael Irvin to come in and kind of smooth this thing out. You know what I mean? Like, come in, you know, smooth this thing out for me, man, so we can get this dude signed and let's get this show on the road. Dak Prescott practiced the entire time. His contract got signed literally 30 minutes before kickoff. CeeDee Lamb's contract didn't get signed till around this time last year, and he was ready for week 1. Took him a minute to get it going, but he is CeeDee Lamb. He's going to get it going. And there's no doubt that Micah Parsons can get this thing going in a heartbeat. But the thing about Micah Parsons is that, for one, he has no chill whatsoever. He is not going to be on a pitch count. He is not going to be a rotational player. If Micah Parsons hits the field week 1 against Philly, he is going to stay his ass on the field. And without being in shape, especially in game shape like that, he runs a risk of getting hurt. They would have to slow him down, right? They would have to. And just to try to keep him from getting himself hurt. I would not be surprised this 53-man roster gets released tomorrow. I would not be surprised in the next day or two if Michael Parsons' deal gets done. I wouldn't be surprised if the numbers are already set and the negotiations are underway. But I also would not be surprised if Michael Parsons' agent and Jerry have not spoken yet. He hadn't spoken to anybody in the organization, and they're just at a stalemate, and you won't have Michael Parsons for the foreseeable future. The thing that is against Micah Parsons is Jerry's really got him by the balls for the next 3 years. He's got this last year of his contract. He can franchise tag him. He can pick up a 5th-year option, and then he can franchise tag him. So for the next 3 years, Micah Parsons is going to be a Dallas Cowboy, and he's not going anywhere. So the best thing to do is just get this shit over with, however you got to do it, Mr. Jones. And let's get ready for week 1 against Philly. I think that's the best thing to do, because this kind of sucks not having literally the face of your franchise available, because you're going to need him, especially week 1, because that's a rough task that you have at hand. So with that being said, the 53-man roster tomorrow, a lot of questions have come about the Cowboys and their secondary issues. There are some guys that have flashed in the preseason that, have an opportunity to play. I believe that opportunity was greater before the news that Trayvon Diggs was cleared to play on the 53-man roster. I do believe that Trayvon Diggs will also be on a pitch count. I believe they learned their lesson last year with Trayvon Diggs. He came back early. He wasn't ready. He was out there week 1, and it just didn't seem like the same cat. But if you really look at this secondary, it has the potential to be very, very good, but not week 1. I don't think so. So Deron Bland will be out there for sure. Donovan Wilson, he'll be out there for sure. Malik Hooker, he'll definitely be out there for sure. The safeties are what worry me the most, and I'll break that down for you in a second. Trayvon Diggs, will he start at corner? I mean, if Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones and this contract weren't the talk of the Dallas Cowboy training camp the whole time that they were in camp, right? And from week 1 till Friday night when they played the Falcons in the final preseason game, Kyer Elam would be the talk of training camp. He had an excellent training camp. Kyer Elam came up from Buffalo, former first-round pick, really wasn't working for him in Buffalo, got a fresh start here in Dallas. He's looked fantastic in camp. He's gone up against George Pickens. He's gone up against CeeDee Lamb. He's stopped them sometimes. Of course, they're going to get some catches on him. Is CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. But Kyer Elam played exceptionally well in camp. Didn't get to see him in the preseason. They're not going to play the starters. That's how the Cowboys do it. But he would be the talk of camp. I promise you he would be the talk of camp. Whenever you get this ready with Diggs, Bland, Kyer Elam at your corners, Donovan Wilson, we all know what Donovan Wilson does. He definitely will step up and make tackles in the run game. He'll definitely step up and lay the boom on you. But Donovan Wilson can be a liability in coverage, particularly against good tight ends. He can be. Israel Mukuamu has been playing a lot of safety in camp. He's been playing a lot of safety in the preseason, and he's looked very, very good at safety. Very good. So he gives you a rotational player. Marquise Bell, always be there. Good player, hard-nosed football player. Hell, he played middle linebacker 2 years ago. definitely a step up in the run game and hasn't looked terrible in coverage as well. Looked pretty good in the couple of preseason games, not just the last one. I think everybody looked good in the last one. Easton Stick made the Cowboys secondary look fantastic. Looked well in practice, looked well in a couple preseason games. Marquise Bell will definitely be a rotational player back there at safety as well. Wanye Thomas, another guy, gonna be in the rotation. He'll play some as well whenever he gets ready to go. Siobhan Ravel Jr., I think, will be exceptionally good, very good out of East Carolina, rookie out of East Carolina. He will be a very, very good NFL cornerback once he gets healthy. He's not ready yet. He's been kind of limping around. There's some videos of him at training camp just going through rehab stuff that his turn and burst isn't there yet. He's got a noticeable limp. And that's kind of what happens when you have a late ACL injury. The thing about it is that you don't want this secondary to get obliterated in some football games and you start rushing people back. They really don't need to do that. They take their time with Siobhan Ravel, get him healthy the way he's when he's 100% ready to go. I think this secondary has an opportunity to be really, really good. Really good. I think it'll be a question who will be the nickelback. Right now, they got Kamal Hall. I think that Andrew Booth will come in and play some nickel as well. I think he may start at the right corner until Diggs, kind of like a rotation with Diggs until Diggs gets 100% healthy and ready to go. Sure, he passed the physical, but you don't have to be 100% to pass the physical. Booth finally, I have not, anybody that's watched my podcast and known, I haven't been a big, not been a big Andrew Booth fan, to be polite about it. I have not been. However, saw him in the preseason game a few weeks ago make a good play. And ever since he made the play, matter of fact, he got pick 6. Ever since then, he's been playing really well. And maybe it was just a confidence thing, man. Like, okay, I can do this. I do belong doing this. And now his mindset is right. There are some guys on this list, of course, that won't be on the football team. There's some guys, Troy Pride Jr. Troy Pride Jr. played an excellent preseason. Couple of games. He played some excellent preseason games. He may not be on the roster. Maybe he'll get a practice squad invite, but he probably won't be on the roster. There are some guys on this list, of course, that won't be there, but there are some guys on this list that will absolutely be there. And they have to hold down the fort until the secondary gets fully healthy. It probably won't be till around week 5 or 6 before you see the secondary come out the way that it should look. And you get these guys, playing at full strength. The only thing that you can hope for is that last year it was a pretty noted fact that Trayvon Diggs possibly didn't take his rehab seriously. And it showed week 1 when he came out. He did not look like the same player. He got fined $750,000 this year for not being with the team during rehab work. But it's obvious that he was doing rehab work somewhere. He took it serious this time. He looks different. He looks strong. He looks fit. He looks quick. He was racing at camp the other day, I think, with Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn barely beat him. Kavontae Turpin was in that race too. It wasn't like Diggs was laboring through a race. He looked quick. He looked strong. He looked fast. He looked like Trayvon Diggs of old. We'll see how that transpires into the season. Super excited to have him back. I think it kind of puts some solidification on the secondary. Still got some pieces that need to be worked out. The safety still kind of scare me. Malik Hooker, sometimes he seems to be lost. He has a tendency to get beat deep. I just hope that, particularly say Donovan Wilson, he's your punisher, he's your enforcer. He will come up and lay the boom, but he will also let a tight end go right up the seam for a 60-yard touchdown and not even be in the picture. Overly aggressive, you may say, but if they can get that stuff worked out, like they got to keep everything in front of them. If they can do that, this team has an opportunity to be really good. I'm really excited about the linebacking core. I'm really excited about how they're moving around. Looks like Overshown will be back week 5. With Rivers, you don't really have to rush him back. You have a guy that plays similar, but Overshown he's Overshown. DeMarvin Overshown is Agent Zero. That's who he is. It'll be exciting when he comes back. This defense has an opportunity, especially under Eberflus's system, has an opportunity to be really, really good. And if you can get this offense clicking and you can play some solid defense, this team can be pretty good. I will give you what I feel like their record will be this year. Maybe tomorrow because I'll come back live tomorrow after the 53-man roster is out and we'll talk about the roster. But we can kind of look at it right now and see what we got. So offensively, you've got Dak, Joe Milton, and Will Grier at quarterbacks. Joe will be your backup, of course. That's what they signed him to be. Will Grier will be your emergency quarterback, or it could flip, vice versa. Joe I think he solidified himself as being the backup quarterback last preseason game against Atlanta. He played very well. He played under control, had a nice touch on some passes, especially the pass to Jalen Brooks in the right corner of the end zone. Phenomenal pass. Put some touch on it, got it over the defender, dropped it right into Jalen Brooks. Jalen Brooks made an excellent catch, had an even better celebration dance. It was funny. There's just some guys on this list that, may not make the team. Phil Maffa is going to start the season on injured reserve with a bad shoulder. Malik Davis, I don't know. Deuce Vaughn, man, that sucks if he doesn't make it. But I truly and honestly have a real hard time saying you get rid of Deuce Vaughn and you keep Miles Sanders. They're similar backs. Miles Sanders, of course, is proven. He's played in the NFL for a while. But it's not the same Miles Sanders that was with Philly 4 or 5 years ago. It's not the same guy. Deuce Vaughn is a younger guy, fresher legs. They're both on the smaller side. But, I just think that Deuce would bring some value to the team. Deuce could go somewhere else. And like if I was listening to the radio station the other day and they were talking about how if Deuce Vaughn went somewhere like to Chicago and got under Ben Johnson, that would be tough because they would find a way to use it. Right? They would find a way. Cowboys got a lot of receivers, got a lot of tight ends. There's just some guys on this list that won't be around. There's some guys on this list that maybe should be around, but they won't be. I'm a big fan of Ryan Flanoy. I think that he's a really good wide receiver. Just not sure that there's room for him on the roster. Trayshawn Holden is another guy. Excellent wide receiver out of Oregon. Couldn't find a home during the draft. Came out in camp, made a lot of plays, made some flash in preseason, had some drops in the last game too. We'll see if they find a home for him as well. Luke Schoonmaker is another guy that's kind of interesting. Didn't have a good camp. You had some other young tight ends that had really good camps. Second round pick, but different coaches, different regime. Maybe he doesn't fit their ideology going forward. I'm not sure. Last year when Schoonmaker did start a couple games, he did do well. There are some guys, though, especially on the defensive side, that are interesting, particularly the defensive tackle and particularly Mozzie Smith. I have been critical of Mozzie Smith and his play. I think that Mozzie Smith, maybe he's in the wrong scheme. He said, I don't trust Eberflus. I didn't trust him as a head coach, not without a doubt. But as a defensive coordinator, I got a little faith in him. One thing about Chicago, they may have been crappy offensively, but defensively, they were always pretty good. Good enough until the offense just kept going 3 and out and the defense got worn out and then they gave up a lead or, got blown out, however it went for Chicago. But I watched them when they came here and with Justin Fields, a quarterback a few years ago, and they were in the game up until about the third quarter. Cowboy offense kicked it into high gear and the defense just couldn't hold up anymore because the offense kept going 3 and out. Mozzie Smith is it's crazy to say that Mozzie Smith, your first round pick 2 years ago, 3 years ago, is on the bubble. The reason that I feel like he's on the bubble is every single preseason game, he was playing well into the third quarter. Well into the third quarter. They wouldn't take him out. And I believe they wanted to see would he make some plays. And in this last preseason game against the Falcons, he made a couple of plays. But if you go back and actually look at the game again, he spent a lot of time back with the linebackers as well, getting driven off the ball. And it seems like it's all pad level. Brian Schottenheimer brought it up after the first preseason game. His pad level is bad. As soon as the ball is snapped, he stands straight up and he gets driven off the ball. But whenever he fires off, stays low to the ground, and plugs a hole, Mozzie Smith is pretty good. It's just going to take some work. We wouldn't be having this conversation about Mozzie Smith if he wasn't the Cowboys' first round pick a few years back. The unfortunate part of that is the unfortunate thing about that is that he was their number one pick a couple years back, and he has not performed like a number one pick. And there have been some guys, particularly Jay Toya. Solomon Thomas is on the bench. He'll be out. Of course, he's going to start. Perrin Winfrey has played well in the preseason. There are some guys that have played well that may have earned some rotational play in the interior defensive line, and Mozzie Smith may be the odd man out. And we'll find out tomorrow. But there's just some body language that's going on and some things that he's doing that makes it seem like, hey man, like he's been talked to, like, hey man, you better have a good one because you better show something. If you don't show us something, you better show something so some other teams can see you because we don't really have a spot for you. And that would be unfortunate. But with these first round picks, man, you win some and you lose some. And that's just how it goes. That's football. That's what it is. And, I'm rooting for Mozzie. I hope he makes it. I hope he can make an impact, right? But I'm just not sure that he makes this roster. Looking forward to seeing from your team. Are you dreading for your team this season? Okay, so the number one thing I'm looking forward to, and I believe that a lot of Cowboy fans looking forward to, is what is this offense really going to look like? On paper, it looks like it's going to be extremely exciting. You've got two very good wide receivers. You have one borderline great wide receiver. I think CeeDee Lamb is a great wide receiver. I would say he's a great wide receiver. And you have one guy that is just dynamic. And it takes that double team away. You can't double team both of them. And you'll see a lot of one-on-ones with these guys, and Pickens is a one-on-one nightmare, right? And CeeDee Lamb is a nightmare because of his yards after catch. He breaks tackles and he gets yacked all day long. That's just what he does. One thing that I dread is maybe the offensive line is bad. I'm interested to see that too. You have to protect your quarterback. If you can protect Dak and give him a little bit of protection, and you can protect him in one or two ways. You can either protect him with running the ball and passing off play action, which would be fantastic, or you can protect him like in the traditional way and have a good pass blocking team and let him get into a rhythm. You have to be good at one of them, though. You can't be mediocre at both. You have to be excellent at one of them. We're a very good passing team because our offensive line holds up tremendously well. Or our offensive line, we run block extremely well. And I think the key to that offensive line is your left tackle, whoever it may be. I really think that it will be Tyler Guyton. He's been working out a lot on the sideline. I went to the inter squad scrimmage last Thursday. Tyler Guyton was on the sideline. He was working the whole time. He was working during the practice portion of it. He was working the whole time. When they actually started scrimmage, he was watching like everybody else. But he was working. He looked light on his feet. He looked like the knee wasn't giving him that much trouble. But we'll see if he's ready to go week one. The left tackle is going to be an issue if he's in the game or not. I believe your guards are going to be good. I believe your two Tylers at your guards, Tyler Smith and Hook. I believe those boys are going to be. Hooker he will be like Tyler Smith was his first year, and I believe in the future he could be an all-pro. He was a good replacement for Zach Martin. He's young, he's hungry, he looks quick, he fires off the ball, he's sealing off holes, he's doing a lot of things that he's supposed to do, and he's doing it as a rookie. Is he doing it against second-team defensive linemen? Of course he is. He ain't done it against Jalen Carter yet. That shit's coming in a couple of days, though. Don't get it twisted. But there's a lot of things that are positives with the offensive line. Cooper Beebe, center, I believe he'll just grow. His offensive line coach in college is his offensive line coach now. I believe they'll grow, and I believe he'll be a lot better. Terrence Steele, last year at the beginning of the season, he just didn't look good, right? And it was weird because as soon as they took Zach Martin out when he got hurt and they entered TJ Bass, all of a sudden Terrence Steele started playing a lot better. Maybe he was trying to compensate for Zach Martin being hurt, but we'll find that out here very soon. I just think that it goes over to your left tackle. And I hope Tyler Guyton is healthy, and I hope that he comes out and he performs well. If not, you're just going to have to find a left tackle, whoever it's going to be. Hakeem Richards, he looked okay in the preseason. He didn't look terrible. But I will tell you this, though. If you go back and look at these preseason tapes, Joe Milton, a lot of the time, he was throwing from a clean pocket. There was nothing at his feet. There was, he on some design rollouts and some design runs. Of course, he broke the pocket, and you saw some defensive linemen break free. But him just standing back in the pocket and throwing the ball, he was pretty clean. And that's a good indication that, hey, man, maybe this offensive line, maybe the scheme is working. We'll find out week 1. I just hope that we can find a running game, get that going, take some pressure off Dak, and give him the opportunity to get the ball down the field to these wide receivers because they can be dynamic. They're going to play Turpin a lot in the slot. That's what it seems like, and that would be fun in itself because Turpin is a lightning in the bottle, man. If that dude gets the ball and gets a little bit of open space, watch out because he's gonna be gone. This offense has the potential to be really, really fun. Defense, as long as the secondary can hold up and as long as this defensive line can stop the run, I think, man, I just think that this team has the potential to be pretty good. Am I saying Cowboys for the Super Bowl? No, not yet. Definitely not yet. I'm just looking for 10, 11 wins. Let's start there, and we'll worry about that other stuff whenever the time comes. But that's what I'm mostly looking forward to is a couple of things. Offense, how explosive it's going to be. Is the offensive line going to be any good? And the defensive line, mostly. If the defensive line is solid, you can get some penetration and stop some running backs. And especially if you get your star defensive end back and Jerry stop bullshitting around to get his dude the money so he can come on out there and we can get after some quarterbacks, I think we'll be all right. I think so. I do. Last question. Who do you fear the most in your division? As much as it pains me to say, man, it's Philly. And for obvious reasons. They are the defending Super Bowl champions. They continuously put a damn squad on the field, even though A.J. Brown will be out for a couple of weeks. I mean, you still got number 26. You know what I mean? 26 is a mofo. He's a bad boy. And 26 can take a lot. 26 can take a lot of pressure off your quarterback and lead them to a Super Bowl, right? Kansas City last year in the Super Bowl just said, we're going to stop 26. And they focused so much on 26 that Jalen Hurts just ate their ass up. And that's the kind of things that 26 gives you. But I will say this. The Giants in the preseason, they look good. They look really good. Their quarterbacks are turning and burning. You got crab legs over there acting a fool. Russell Wilson looks like he done found a fountain of youth, and they're all just placeholding for Jackson Dart because I've liked Jackson Dart since Ole Miss. Jackson Dart is that dude. They're gonna be all right. As much as I hate to say it. And then, Washington went to the damn NFC Championship game last year. You know what I'm saying? This is a dangerous division. And if you can come out of this division on top, hasn't been a repeat in a long, long time. So Philly might be in trouble. Plus Saquon Barkley's on the cover of Madden. That's a bad thing. There's some teams this year. The Giants, I just have this funny feeling that the Giants are just not going to be that walkover team in the division no more. They're just not. And I just think that all 4 teams can be pretty good. But there's not much separation from first and fourth if the Giants continue to play the way that they're playing. Now, don't get me wrong. It's the preseason. And, you've got veterans playing in the preseason against second and third team players. But they have some potential. And it looks good, but I think the team that I fear the most, no doubt is Philly. It has to be, and I hate saying that. It breaks my heart to say it, but Philly is good, man. They're a good football team, and we'll break them down here in the next couple of days as we begin to prepare for this Week 1 matchup. So it should be interesting. Tomorrow, we will absolutely go live once this 53-man roster is set up. We'll do that for sure. And then once it's solidified and we see what we're working with, and then, it's time, right? Like the season is here. You only play 3 preseason games now. You get a week off, and then, you get your Labor Day off on Monday, and then 3 days later, you're in Philly playing on ring night. And it's going to be loud and it's going to be obnoxious, and they're going to be running around with them shiny ass Super Bowl rings on that you haven't got one in 30 years. And what a better opportunity to go out and just fuck their whole thing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, what a better opportunity. Like, start out 0-1, shit on Philly's ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, what a better opportunity, right? And I just hope that they feel the same way, right? So I'm going to leave you guys with this last thing. The preseason game on Friday, Jerry was hanging around with Micah Parsons' mother. And they had a little interesting little moment. And it all turned into this picture right here. But this is kind of what the conversation went like.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, Michael, why aren't you out there playing? You act like you want some money or something.
Quit playing, Jerry. Get that dude his money. And let's get this team ready so we can go chase this ring. All right. This is Cowboy C3, man. I will be back tomorrow with this 53-man roster. Won't be a long show, but we'll definitely talk about this roster and see what we're working with for this season, man. All right, y'all. Cowboy C3. Great having everybody here, man. If you guys haven't done it yet, please like and subscribe. I'm going to start saying that at the beginning instead of at the end. I keep forgetting to do it because I'm just excited about doing the show. My bad, y'all. But anyway, you guys have a great evening, and we will definitely see you guys tomorrow with the 53-man roster. All right, y'all. Cowboy C3. I'm out. Peace.